Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum students. I welcome you all to AppSec's online support program. Our topic for today's lesson is optical illusion and using prefixes un and im to form opposites. In this lesson, we will talk about optical illusions and learn how adding prefixes un and im changes the word into its opposite. Incorporating a thought for the day is a very useful habit. So, your thought of the day for today is making mistakes is part of life and a really big part of growing up. It's how you learn who you want to be. Students, making mistakes is a lot better than not doing anything. We should not regret or be afraid of making mistakes. We must learn from them. Mistakes are proof that we are trying. So, it is okay to make mistakes as long as we learn from them. This is an English language lesson. Our topic for today is optical illusions and using prefixes to form opposites. Our objectives for today's lesson. Today we will listen and learn how optical illusions trick our eyes and learn how we can use a prefix to form opposite of a word. Your success criteria for today. Remember to look at the picture, measure the lines and observe the patterns, how they trick our eyes. Draw your optical illusion using a scale very neatly. And use prefixes un and im appropriately to form opposites. Okay students, before starting our lesson, I want to show you a picture. Tell me, what do you see? Two people facing each other or pillar-like structures? Very confusing, isn't it? What you perceive as the contents of this image depends on whether your eyes try to derive meaning out of the lighter portion of the image or the darker one. This is an example of an optical illusion. Okay, so now here is one more example. Do you see something moving in the picture? Well, it's not really moving, it's just your brain being confused by what your eyes tell it. Okay, now, you might be thinking, what do I mean by the confused brain? Our brain is like a blind supercomputer. It is very smart, but it can't see. To figure out what it needs, our eyes tell our brain what the things around us look like. The problem is our eyes only know a handful of words to describe what they see. Sometimes our brain gets confused by what the eyes are trying to tell it. This can mean the brain thinks things are moving when actually they are still, or you might see shapes, shades or colors that aren't really there. So basically, optical illusions simply trick our brains into seeing things which may or may not be real. Okay students, now I want you all to open your textbooks page number 48 and look at the pictures carefully. Tell me, in picture A, are lines A and B equal in length? Your answer might be a no. But I want you all to use a scale and measure both the lines. You will be amazed to know that they both are equal. The inward and the outward facing wings causes our brain to misestimate the line length. Now look at picture B. Look at the yellow circles. Are they equal in size? I think you are thinking that yellow circle A is bigger than yellow circle B. But it is not actually the case. Use your scale again to measure it and get amazed that both the circles are of same size. The circle that's centrally placed is of the same size in both the parts, but placed among circles smaller than itself, it appears bigger. The same circle in the other part of the image seems smaller because it is placed among the bigger circles. Same goes with picture C. I want you to measure line blue and orange with your scales, but they don't look equal. Optical illusion is created when you change what's going on around them. That means their surroundings. Okay students, now let's watch an interesting video.
Inside Science TV.
These are just two identical run-of-the-mill straight lines. Nothing all that terribly interesting about them. But what is interesting is what happens when you change what's going on around them. They'll look like they've changed size in relation to each other. They'll change to different shades. They'll stretch and compress, and can even change directions. Even though it seems like these changes are actually happening on the screen, the only thing that's actually bending and buckling is your mind. What's going on inside your brain is the truly mesmerizing part of visual illusions. When you look at something, what you're really seeing is light, specifically light from the sun, or a light bulb bounces off whatever you're looking at and enters into your eye. The light is then converted to electrical signals that your brain can turn into an image. This process takes about 1/10 of a second, so at any given moment your eyes are taking in an incredible amount of information. It's really difficult for your brain to try to focus on everything at once, so our brain takes shortcuts, simplifying what we see to help us concentrate on what's important. This trait helped early humans survive encounters with fast predators, or at the very least, avoid running into trees. These shortcuts are also at the heart of how visual illusions fool our brains. Take the herring illusion, for example. Here are two straight lines again, but when you drop them in front of this radial pattern, they looked warped even though they're actually straight. When your brain sees that radial pattern, it focuses on the point in the middle. It looks like you're traveling towards it. Your brain then thinks these parallel lines are getting closer. That's why they seem to get larger as you approach the center of the radial pattern, and that makes the lines look warped. Not all visual illusions trick our brain into seeing motion. Some can also trick our brains into perceiving colors or shades that aren't actually there. Take the mock band illusion. This stack of ascending gray bars seems to be lighter on the bottom, but when we separate them, we can see that they're all a solid color. This is due to an automatic process in our brains called lateral inhibition that helps us define the edges of objects. The effect can be seen in this famous illusion, the Hermann grid, where you can see a sort of gray circle at the intersection points of each square. What about those illusions that make it seem like a still image is moving? The psychedelic peripheral drift illusion is an impressive brain fart. This is a version called the rotating snakes. You can't help but see a very convincing slithering motion within the image, but when you fixate on any point, the motion seems to stop. This is due in part to how we perceive light and dark, and in part to our eye movements. The sequence of light, dark, and colored segments in each of these snakes tricks the motion-sensitive neurons in your brain into responding as they would to real physical motion. The pattern of segments that leads to the illusory rotation is always white, light gray, black, and dark gray in sequence. In color, the lime green acts as light gray, and the light blue acts as dark gray. So you can see it also works in grayscale. Also, blinking, shifting your eyes, and looking away can fuel the illusion of motion. So believe the cliche, what you see isn't always what you get.
Okay students, we have some more illusions on textbook page 49. Open it and look at the pictures carefully. Look at the first picture and tell me, what shape can you see in the picture? Correct. Very good. We see a cube. But tell me, is it really there? No, it's not. These are just some pink circles with white lines on them placed in such a manner that they create an image of a cube in our minds. Come to the next picture now. Look at the little white circles. Can you see the black dots too? Can you count them? No, because they are not real. When you focus on the white circles, you will notice that there are no black dots in the picture. So, in this way, our mind creates optical illusions for us when we see things which are not real. Okay students, now I want you to come to textbook page 50 and look at the picture. There is a picture of a horse flying. Can a horse fly? Is it possible? No, it is not. It is impossible. Impossible means it can't happen. And there is one more picture of an elephant here. Can you count how many legs it has? Oh, it's so difficult, isn't it? If I am counting, I can count, 5 legs? It is impossible. I know you might have a different answer for that. Things which can happen are called possible. And things which are not real and can't happen are called impossible. Just by adding "im" to the word possible, we have changed the meaning to its opposite. So that brings us to our next topic, prefix. What is a prefix? A prefix is a word part added at the beginning of a base word to change the meaning of that word completely. Students, there are many prefixes, but today in this lesson we are going to focus on two special prefixes, I am, im and you and un. I am means not, and same goes for un. You and un means not. When they are connected or added before a word, they change the word to its opposite. So, some opposites are formed by adding a prefix to word. For example, when you add un to do, it becomes undo. When we add un to kind, it becomes unkind. That means we are changing the word to its opposite by adding a prefix. Same goes for I am, im. Someone is perfect, but when we add I am to the word perfect, that person becomes imperfect. A word is pure. That means very clean. But when we add I am to pure, it becomes impure. That means not clean. Okay students, now I want you all to open textbook page 51. On this page, here are some sentences which will show you how the prefix un and im can change the word into its opposite word. Let's read the sentences in the purple box. A kind person helps other people. An unkind person hurts other people's feelings. Kind, unkind. Just by adding un to the word kind, the meaning has completely changed. You can even look at the picture and note which person is kind and which person is unkind. Coming to the green box. A tidy person likes things to be neat and clean. That is the meaning of tidy. An untidy person leaves things in a mess. Adding un to word tidy changes the meaning to its opposite. Now look at the picture. Which person is tidy? Very good. Now coming to the use of I am. You are waiting for a bus. A patient person waits quietly and feels calm. An impatient person doesn't like waiting and feels angry. Can you look at the picture and tell me which person is impatient here? Correct. The person who's angry is impatient. Just by adding I am to the word patient, the meaning of the word has entirely changed. Next sentence. You are walking and you bump into an old lady. A polite person says sorry. An impolite person doesn't say anything. Look at the second picture. Is the girl polite or impolite? She's saying sorry. She's polite. Meaning changes to its opposite when we add prefix im to a word. Let's do a quick recap of what we have done today. Today we learned about optical illusions, what are they and how they trick our eyes, and we have learned how to form opposites of words by adding prefixes. Okay students, now coming to your home assignment. Your assignment for today is choose an appropriate prefix to complete the word. You have been given two prefixes here, un and im. And here are 4 sentences. Read the sentences very carefully and decide which prefix goes with which word. Do your work neatly and send it to your teacher on time. Okay students, now in the end, this time I would like you to be nice to your siblings. Sibling relationships are emotionally powerful and critically important, not only in childhood but over the course of a lifetime. So that means our siblings are our friends for life. So help them and take care of them. And take care of yourself too. Stay blessed students. Take care. Thank you.